Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Lewis Speaks 2025, and today I want to talk to you all about gay life. As many of you already know, that I no longer identify as a gay man, and what that means is that while I still struggle with same sex attractions as a result of past trauma, I no longer identify with the life because gay is not just about your sexual orientation, gay is more about the culture and the life itself. And no one can tell me that gay does not have its own distinct culture because it does. It really does. Between the bar scene and the ballrooms and the club scene, it has its own culture. And I no longer identify with the culture because, quite frankly, it runs contrary to my morals, my values, and my principles. And I choose to no longer identify in that context. What made me decide to no longer want to live my life as a gay man was me observing the life and how broken all these men are. It just made me feel like there's no help here, there's no love here, there's no growth here. All it's about is broken men living to break each other. That's all it's about. And I got tired of it. I got tired of a community that glorifies being broken and doesn't want to be fixed. They don't want to reconcile themselves to God. They don't want to reconcile themselves to love. They don't want to reconcile themselves to relationships. All they want to do is go around breaking other people, breaking themselves. It's just a culture of recklessness. And is this every gay man? No. No, it's not. But majority of the gay men that I have spoken with, baby, they're a mess. They're a mess. It's like you meet these men either at a bar or on an app, and it's just dysfunction after dysfunction. And even if you meet them, say for instance, at a bookstore, on the street, at a restaurant, which is where I've met a lot of gay men, you still see the same dysfunction. Because you can take the boy out the bar, but you can't take the bar out the boy. You can take the boy off the apps, but you can't take the apps out the boy because, let's be honest, that mindset, that instant gratification, that quick hit, that love and predilection for risk, you can't remove that. It's part and parcel of the community. It's so deeply woven into the culture. It's baked in. It's like white supremacy. It really is. It's so woven into the culture that it needs to be reimagined. It needs to be reframed and reimagined because this culture is broke down and I'm just sick of it. I decided to leave also because my spirituality did not correspond to my sexuality. They didn't match. I felt like there was a disconnection there. I started to experience spiritual dissonance. It's to the point where I was with partners and I would have this jolt, like I would just be able to not breathe because it felt like a gross contradiction to my spirit. And I guess many say that this is your spirit convicting you. My spirit was convicting me. It was convicting me. The anxiety, the depression that I felt after these hookups. I didn't feel fulfilled. I felt empty. Truth be told, I felt empty. And then, not to mention, after you hook up with these people, right? You don't know if you got something, so you have to wait a window period of either 12 days. I know the Alere Determined HIV test, it tests within the window of 12 days. So you got to wait 12 days, go to the clinic, get a free HIV test, and then hope and pray that you're not positive. But think about it. A lot of these men, truth be told, they don't care about your life. They don't care about whether or not other people love you and how that might affect them. They don't care. All they care about is the moment. They care about getting their lust off. That's all they care about. So here you are. Your good life is spent carrying somebody else's death. Your good life is spent living out somebody else's death sentence, basically. It's an empty life. And then you think about these men, they don't even want to show you a picture. They want to claim to be, oh, I'm DL. I'm discreet. Oh, I don't want other people to know I work a secret job. I met people that worked for the FBI, basically. They've worked for the FBI, and I guess they feel as though the FBI will somehow, cancel their employment if they find out that they're gay. Whatever. It's just, once again, confusion, drama. No. These men are good at authoring confusion. And when you're growing up, you see clarity. You want clarity. You want things that make sense. This don't make sense. These men out here who are angry that they're HIV positive want to go around and infect other people. They knowingly go out here. They say things like, oh, I'm negative on PrEP. No, they're positive on meds. Correction. But they want to sit up there and make you think that they're negative on meds. Please. I don't know how many times these boys have told me that they were negative on meds. They were not negative on meds. They were positive, you know? They were not negative on PrEP. They were positive on meds. And this is not to shame those living with HIV/AIDS. This is not that type of video. This is not that kind of party. But what I'm saying is everybody has a right to know exactly what they're getting into, and full disclosure is important. That's important. Give people a choice whether or not they want to invite that risk into their lives. And the thing about it is this. A lot of people, they want to sit up there and shame those living with HIV/AIDS. Baby, none of us are in a position, because we've all had slip-ups. I don't care what nobody, I've had slip-ups numerous times. And so I'm not sitting here trying to shame anybody, but that's the thing. We're putting ourselves on the chopping block for people that don't even take us out on a date. Don't even call us, don't even check in on us. But these are the very ones that we're willing to die for. And in my videos, you will notice transparency. You will notice a culture of transparency in all throughout all my videos. Even look at my house. My house is a mess. It's a wreck. But I had to make this video right now because I know there are other gay men out there who are struggling, trying to figure it out, trying to find their way to some sense of normalcy, some sense of closure, some sense of happiness. And I'm going to tell you right now, this life ain't it. It's not it. It's just nothing but chaos and confusion. As I mentioned before, you get online, nobody wants to show you a picture. Nobody wants to basically introduce themselves. Nobody wants to take you out on a date. Nobody wants to dignify you with the truth. They just keep on telling lie after lie. Even the pictures are lies. The culture is broke down, and I gotta be honest, and like I told you before, I'm gonna tell them myself. There were times when men didn't want to show me a picture, right? And so I said, yeah, come over. Your anonymity is fine with me. That's fine. You want to be discreet? Okay, we'll play the discretion game. So they showed up at my house. I didn't even let them in. And I told them, this is what you get for trying to keep a secret. This is what you get for trying to sit up there and deny me a picture as I blocked them. I wasted their gas, I wasted their time, and I got a delicious satisfaction in doing that. I got a delicious satisfaction. They deserved it. They deserved to be played. And I played them like they were trying to play me. But you see how this life transformed me? You see how it took me from somebody who didn't want to do these things to somebody that became a monster? No. There were times when guys would do the same thing to me. They would say, come to this address. I came to that address. It was an abandoned field. It was an abandoned lot. And once you get there, they're laughing because they tricked you. That's all that's out here is tricks, games, players, and cons. Don't forget crooks. There's no honor in this game. This game is like the drug game, and our drug is lust. See, other people, they struggle with crack, cocaine, heroin. We as gay men, we struggle with lust. That's our drug of choice. And so we mainline that straight to the vein. And so they play us. We get played. We get conned. We get swindled, bamboozled. You want to play a gay nigga? Let me tell you what you do. You basically promise penis. You promise penis. If they have the promise of penis or booty, please. Hook, line, sinker. But it's disgusting out here. It's disgusting. It's full of broken men. Broken men. Men who have complicated relationships with their fathers and their mothers. So what they end up doing is they try to replay those dynamics onto innocent men. They try to take out their anger and aggression on innocent men. I told y'all before in a past video of a boy who I hooked up with, and after I hooked up with him, I checked his Facebook. He said, I'm gonna do to these men what my father did to my mother. And here I was like, what? So here you are trying to build relationship. Here you are trying to give pleasure, give love, trying to find a connection, trying to find healing also, because as I mentioned before, what brought me in the life is trauma, father hunger. Not having a father figure who was actually decent. So I came here looking for some love, looking for some connection. And what I got was nothing but what? Clinics, STD testing, games, lies, infidelity, cheated on numerous times, lied to, tricked, you name it. And so it's disgusting out here. And we know that. There's so many gay men who can attest to that fact, but yet and still they get mad at me when I'm making videos like this. I have so many comments where men have criticized me and said, you know something, the same thing exists within the heterosexual community. The same thing exists within there, so why don't you demonize them? For one, I'm not talking to the heterosexual community. I'm talking about our gay men. That's what I'm talking about. And for two, I have to be honest, I've been on both sides of the fence. I've dated women before and I've dated men. I've dated more men than women, but I've dated women. And let me tell you something. These women didn't do me half as dirty as these men. Truth be told, if you are a good man to a good woman, that woman will grow for you. That woman will love you. That woman will take care of you. That woman will grow you. You give her sperm, she gives you a child. You give her a house, she gives you a home. You give her some random grocery items, she will prepare you a meal. Chef's kiss. Things grow when women love on them. But when men love on people, or when they lust on people, men die. How many men are in the morgue or in the grave now behind some other man's lust? Can't trust the lust. But that's the difference. You know, I know for a fact that if you love on good women, they're going to grow you. But if you love on these men, if you love on good men, they're going to play you. And then say things like, well, it's not realistic for two men to be monogamous. You know, we have too much testosterone. Biologically, we are programmed to spread our seed, or all these justifications and nonsense to justify infidelity. I've heard it all. Oh, well, with two men, you didn't really expect me to be faithful to you the entire time. What was I thinking? Please. So I'm just like, nah. Because you could love a man, like they have a saying, You can cook a man's food and do backflips on his dick, and he will still cheat on you. You can cook his food in diamond oil and do backflips on his dick, and he will still cheat on you. That's the saying. It doesn't matter what you do, you're still getting cheated on. And a lot of men, a lot of gay men, now they don't care if you cheat on them. Just don't stop paying the bills. Just don't leave them. Because if you leave them for the man that you cheated on them with, that's when it's a betrayal. But if you just stick your penis in them, nah, that's fine. Especially if it's, every couple is different, so they have their rules and regulations. If it's in a different zip code, it's not considered cheating. If you're on vacation and you decide to hook up with somebody, you have a pass. They give you a license. Here you go, there's a pass. Mind blown. Really, mind blown, because I can't get with that. You have a partner and you find somebody else who what? Arouses your sensibilities, and it's okay? No. When you decide to be in a relationship, you forego all other people. That's what a relationship is. Now, if you want to sleep around and play the field, be single. Be single. But no, people want to have their cake and eat it too. They want to sit up there and basically just have the fires burning at the house and the security of a home, while also enjoying the novelty of an anonymous encounter. And no, you can't have your cake and eat it too. You either choose your cake or you choose to eat his vagina too. You either like the cake that you have at home, or you can go have many different cakes at many different bakeries. But my thing is this, you're not gonna do that here. With me, nah, I don't tolerate infidelity. That's one of my deal breakers. You cheat on me, you can get gone. Just like that. There is no coming back from that, because what? I'm gonna have to sit up there and suspect you every time you leave the house. I'm gonna have to wonder and worry that, are you where you say you're at? No, nah. I gotta sit up there and have this nagging feeling at the pit of my stomach every time you go out. I'm not doing it. Nope. I was looking at this show, R&B Divas, with Kiki Wyatt, and she wouldn't allow her man to have friends. She had such trauma surrounding past infidelities and past relationships, she wouldn't even allow her man to have friends or go out. That's holding both him and her hostage. And I think that that's sad. She couldn't even meet with the R&B divas individually. She had to have her husband glued to her hip because of that trauma. Nah. And while that's a heterosexual couple, right? I think in the gay world, there's a lot more. And once again, I don't have the statistics, but I believe, it's my opinion, based on my experience, that there's a lot of infidelity here. A lot of infidelity, especially with younger gay couples. If they have not opened up their relationship, chances are that question is coming. There's going to come a point where they're going to want to open up their relationship. They're going to get bored, plugging the same hole, rubbing the same pole, and they're going to want new hole and new pole. Looking for a loophole. I tell you. It's just wild out here. It's wild. That's why I opt to be single. I'm single. I'm devoting myself to my Heavenly Father. I'm trying my best to focus on my Christian studies and get myself correct with God, because I realize that everything else is just a distraction. It's just a distraction. Lust is a distraction, and does that mean that I'm not still tempted? Of course, every single day I wake up. But I keep in mind, I'm going to do the next right thing. Every temptation that enters, I'm going to do the next right thing. What is the next right thing? The next right thing is for me to basically stay prayed up. The next right thing is to just get myself in gear. And once again, does that always work? No. Sometimes you're fighting, but like I said, you're picking up new tools as well. It's like I said, everybody's saying, well, this is your sexual orientation and that can't change. I personally feel that anything can be changed. Anything. When we think of the concept of deliverance, people who are delivered from certain things, that's transformation. People can wake up one day, and I always believe this. Oh, what a difference a day makes. People can wake up and the next day, they're completely different. They've changed. Because a part of them can't even imagine living their former lives for yet another minute. They couldn't even stand to be in the same skin for another minute. They had to outgrow that. They shed the skin and adopted new skins. And that's what we're called to do. We're called to shed those old skins of lust, desire, recklessness, drama. Shed those old skins, put on a new skin, put on a new personality. This culture of shade that exists within the gay community, that's also problematic. Everybody's being cruel to one another. And they're saying, oh, well, we do it because, something, we were once demonized and people made fun of us and they criticized us and put us down. So what we're going to do now is just beat them to the punch so that way we get a thicker skin. They're trying to get a thicker skin. So if we make fun of ourselves first, we'll be more equipped to handle it. It's like a shield. Shade is like a shield. And I get it. But at the same time, that breaks people down. The constant negativity, constant criticism, constant shade. People, like gay men, I used to walk in the club. They used to like, who this bitch thinks he is? Who this bitch, they call me a bitch. Who this bitch think? Excuse me? I'm just trying to drink and I just want to dance, and flirt a little bit. So I can get that male attention that I never got from my father. Y'all could be my surrogate fathers, okay? Just for this night. Pay me attention, buy me some drinks, top shelf, of course, and let's dance. But these dudes gotta be like, looking you up and down the culture of shade. They got to read you for filth. They can't read you for elevation or read you for wealth. Let's read you for wealth. Yeah, let's read you for wealth. No, they got to read you for filth. They got to break you down so much that you're just a pile of bleached bones on a freaking carcass. It's sick. Life already breaks you down. Half the times your family already disowns you or hates your guts or don't even talk to you, so you don't have that family support. So now you come out here looking for that love, that support from community, and all you're getting is shade. You're not getting held, you're not getting validated, you're just getting degraded and demeaned and debased and disparaged on a daily basis. And you wonder why our worth is in the gutter? You wonder why our worth is in the gutter. Because we're not being built up here. We're being broken down. And this is why I have bowed out. I said, y'all can have it. If you want it, you can have it. There comes a point where you start to realize I've been tricked. For the longest time, I lived my life as a proud gay man. I didn't hide. I took to the ground running. I never shied away. I would hold my boyfriend's hand in the street. I was always proud. But now, I'm not proud. I'm also not ashamed. There's got to be a middle ground of what I am. If you're not proud and you're not ashamed, what are you? I think woke. Woke is the middle ground. You're waking up to the truth about the life and how destructive, how chaotic, how reckless, and how unloving it is. Is there love here? Do these men even know how to receive love here? Gay men don't even know how to receive love. And what I've learned through personal experience is that if you don't first love yourself, you will never be able to receive the love of someone else. If you don't, a person can love you and they can see your potential and they can see everything wonderful about you. But if you don't see it for yourself, it's like there is a hole and a leak in the faucet. All that water is going to come flowing right back out. So you got to fix the leaks because there's too many leaks here. And I just find it ironic how men, they want to drain out pipes, right? They always say, let me drain your pipe, which translation, let me make you come, right? But they have yet to fix their own faulty leaks. You want to drain my pipe, but yet you still have a leak. There's some poetry in there somewhere. Stay tuned. But it's just wild. It's wild, you know? And I definitely intend to write a book about all this eventually, once I organize my thoughts. And I'm going to title it Broken Rainbows. Definitely Broken Rainbows, because when you think of a rainbow is symbolic of a promise that God made, never to destroy the world by water again, right? Initially, God basically enacted the flood back in Noah's day. There was a flood to rid the world of all the filth. And the rainbow was God's promise to Noah to never, never bring destruction to this world by water again. And so, of course, the rainbow has been appropriated by the gay community, to symbolize the array of colors, right? Many different lifestyles and colors and sexual orientations are within this rainbow. And it's supposed to symbolize community and diversity and unity, but it doesn't. It's a broken rainbow. It has not lived up to its promise. And so many of us are out here trying to patch up this rainbow that keeps on breaking, and we're getting cut and injured by the shards of its breakage, of its wreckage. And so I'm tired. I'm personally just exhausted with the life. It has nothing to offer. I had to leave it alone. I had to let it go. And I'm grateful that I did. Does that mean that I don't occasionally wake up with struggles? Yes, I struggle. I have my thorns. But like I said, when you think about the struggles that you experience in the life, the anxiety, the depression, the sadness, the infidelity, the health scares, the lies, versus the sadness of having to let go of a former identity that you once believed in, not having access to sexual release, not having that community. I think the sadness while I was in the community is so much more profound and so much more pronounced than the sadness I'm experiencing now. And it's not even a sadness. It's more so a growing pain. Growing out of certain things, you definitely have that growing pain. And sometimes, you will definitely romanticize the past. You will think about the past much better than it actually was. That's just how it is. But when you think about it, if you were so happy there, why did you stay there? If you were so complete and so content, why did you want to leave? You wanted to leave because you were not that happy. You wanted to leave because you were not that content. There was a part of you that felt this was not it. Something's wrong here. There's a part, and I think with every gay man, they feel that. There's a part of them that says, something's wrong here. But then they're like, okay, but what do I do about it? Where do I go from here? I know that this place is not morally, spiritually, or emotionally healthy for me, but where do I go? So they feel trapped. And so they stay in these situations and they stay within the life and they build their cage around the life. They build their cage. And the thing is, you know something, I don't know where to go, and that's not even true. I do know where to go. You got to go to God. That's where you go. You got to go to God. Only He can break the chains. Only He can break the chains. But you got to be willing to lay it down at the altar. You got to put it at the altar. And a lot of us struggle with that. We struggle with submitting. We struggle with spiritual submission. We struggle with surrender. We struggle to put it at the altar. And so we go back and we take it off the altar. We put it back on the altar. We take it off the altar. And it's like, how can it be healed if you keep on backsliding? If you keep on relapsing? If you keep on taking it off the table, putting it back on the table, taking it off the table? You have to leave it there. You got to leave it there, and you got to pray for strength, and you got to ride it out and realize that your salvation is coming. Even when it looks like it's not coming, it's on the way. It's kind of like a package that you ordered. You know, you have not been given you haven't been given a tracking number. You just have the promise that it's coming. So you have to trust, and that's where faith comes in. And I think that as men who love men, our faith sometimes is shattered. And I think that's because of our first relationships we have with our fathers. Many of us don't have that relationship. Many of us we either have a non-existent or a strained relationship with our dads. So it's hard to have faith in God when the first man that you ever loved continue to break promises to you, continue to lie to you, continue to hurt you. It's hard to have faith in God, and God knows that. He knows that it's hard to trust because the first man in my life, I can speak to my example, my situation. My father, he was a drug addict. He was inconsistent. He made promises, he didn't keep those promises. And so it became hard to trust him. And then by extension, we have God, who makes promises sometime, and we feel as though these promises are not coming through. But once again, He may not come when you call Him, but He ain't never late. And that's the truth. That's the truth. But once again, we have to be willing to trust. And that's hard. It's very hard. But what's the alternative? The alternative is to continue to cycle through this swirling eddy of despair we know as gay life. Can't do it. There comes a point when you grow up. And that's the thing. Gay life is fun in your 20s. But as you get older and you grow up, and you get in your 30s and your 40s and your 50s, it starts not to be fun anymore because you really begin to need people. You need consistency. You need something you can count on. Something you can set your watch to. These men, you can't count on them. Can't count on them. Can't set your watch to them. They're irresponsible. They're reckless. They live for lust. Anybody that lives in the land of lust, I cannot build with you. I can't. You can't build a strong foundation on lust. You know, you can't build upon a foundation of lust. If your foundation is rooted in novelty, in lust, you can't build. Can't do it. And that's where this foundation is built on. It's built on trivial, superficial things. Body image, beauty. It's built on this foundation. So how can I ever build anything meaningful on a foundation of lust and superficiality? Can't do it. So I'll leave y'all with these thoughts and thank y'all for listening. If you have anything that you want to offer, any encouragement, any uplifting words in the comment section, I thoroughly appreciate it. Thank you so much, y'all. Peace.